Welcome to On the Line with Jim Pyne. I'm Jim Pyne. This episode is brought to you by PLS Aviation, private aviation perfectly executed. Now let's get on the line. Today on the line, we have a legendary coach from a legendary family, 3 generations of coaching. Really a great player, too. 15 years in the NFL as a player. One of the few guys that can go from playing to coaching, transfer that into greatness, and been in Super Bowls, won a national championship. The great Jim Harbaugh. Coach, welcome on the show.
Thank you for having me, Jim. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, good. I don't know if you remember, years ago, 1992, I had a chance. I met you. I was on spring break with some friends. You were with the Bears. You came in. I think Neil Anderson, some other guys, and you guys. I was just a small guy in college playing in Virginia Tech, but I remember you were a nice guy. Went up, shook your hand, met you. It was good to meet you then. And I said, good guy. Then I played for your brother in Philadelphia. So know the family well. Great people, and it was great to meet you then. So great to have you on the show.
And a ton of sons and nephews that have been tremendous football players. I mean, the Pyne family is there's no question about it. Great
Yeah.
football lineage there.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, likewise to you. I looked it up. Your son was a Jay, right? 3 generations of coaching. He
Yeah,
won a couple Super Bowls, a national championship. He's on the fast track, man. I like his path, right? You got to be proud of him, right?
so proud of him. Jay Harbaugh, my son. He's the special teams coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, as you mentioned. He Super Bowl champions this past year. He also was a Super Bowl champion when he coached at the Baltimore Ravens in the 2012 season. We won a national championship together. And at Michigan, he is a phenomenal coach, great person, great dad, just everything. So very proud of him.
Yeah, no question. I mean, the family stuff. I've done the history. Talk to your brother. Your dad's 87. You coach for. Tell me about coaching for your dad in the off seasons. I think you helped with recruiting at Western Kentucky. He won a national championship in '02. Tell me what that was like, because I know the challenges in playing pro football. It's a job. It's a full time year round thing. But you, what, in the off seasons, kind of went and helped your dad a little bit, or what you do?
Oh, that's exactly right. Yeah, there was, it's just what you do for family, for family, with family. There's nothing better. But yeah, there was a point at Western Kentucky where there was a vote to drop the program, and about 1990, somewhere right in there, and I was playing for the Bears at the time, 93. I think it was 90, more like 93. And they had a hiring freeze. They couldn't hire any more coaches, and they had 4 coaches. So, hey, Dad, I got an idea. Why don't you let me hire me as a coach, and I can go out and recruit and help in the spring. And my brother, who was coaching in Indiana at the time, he was chipping in too, and we're kind of players that maybe they weren't going after or weren't going to offer. He was providing those lists, and it was just there's a passion to help my dad, and we had a lot of fun doing it, and did that for about 6 years in the off season at Western Kentucky, and then when I got a head coaching job at the University of San Diego, I said, Dad, I need you. And he dropped everything he was doing at Marquette University as an associate athletic director and came out to San Diego, coached our running backs for the entire 2004 season. And what he brought to our team, to our players, to our staff, what he taught me, incredible is all I can say. And the daily driving to work together, driving home together, talking every single day about the team and coaching and everything personal and professional. I know why father and son businesses are so productive and so enjoyable. Really one of the times of my life, truly.
Sure, sure. No, and enthusiasm unknown to mankind, right? I mean, I
Unknown to
love this.
mankind, Jim. It's otherworldly. It's not of this world.
That's right. I love it. No, and I love the story too. At the time, I guess you guys came out. The car wasn't available. Your dad said, "Get the basketballs. 100 on the right, 100 on the left.
Yeah.
Who's better than us?" Right. That was the
Who's
whole.
got it better than us? Who's got it better than us?
I love that.
Nobody, Dad. Nobody. And truly, there wasn't. The to be on that team, which was our family. That family team. Yeah, I guess You couldn't have it better. And it's a way of looking at life, no question about it. With a positive attitude. But there's another layer there that whatever your circumstances are, it's like ankle weight sometimes.
Yeah.
Turning a negative into a positive. We know we got that opportunity to do that. It's going to make us better, whatever the circumstance it is at the current situation. Uh, there's a chance to make it better. Who could have it better than us? Nobody. And then there's another layer of, there is one person that could have us. There is somebody. There are people that could have it better than us. Well, who's that? Future us. If we keep doing right and staying on the trajectory that we're on and staying together. Those lessons all come from Jack Harbaugh.
Yeah, no, it's great to have. I was close with my dad. My dad passed. Blessing me. I still have your dad at 87, and all coached with you at Michigan too. All that stuff. I mean, and John, your brother, has said, I gotta understand. I had my dad for a while, for years. I used to call my dad on the phone. He said, "Go ahead." He'd go ahead with whatever you got going. He knew he could dissect everything great. And I asked your brother. I got to ask you the same thing. To have your dad there as a resource, you got your brother too. Your sister married a coach too. So like. And John said, that's what you guys do. You guys get on the phone and kind of, for a resource, hey, should I hire this coach? Should I fire this guy? Pick this player, not pick this guy? I mean, what does that mean to you in that process? The family's amazing, but to have those resources, a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah, it's fill in the blank. It's everything. It's anything and everything, personally, professionally, and it's with your brother, your dad, your brother-in-law, your sister, your mom, that they're all people that 100%. They don't just have your back. They have your back, your front, and sides, both sides.
That's right.
Who could have it better? One might say, Jim. Who could have it better?
Love it.
I
Love it.
feel like nobody.
Nobody. That's right. That's right. Hey, and I watched your press conference the other night. You guys won a game big, preseason, and all that stuff. And I watched you mic'd up too, walking around with your players. And I haven't played, and I coached for a few years. I can tell you're a player's coach because you've coached, you played before, now you coach. You're calling out guys' names by name in press conferences. You're giving guys credit. You're giving that stuff. That doesn't happen. That's rare. You've been around coaching a bunch, but you played too. Then watching you mic'd up, walk around at practice, the guys are coming up to you. They can relate. You can relate to them. That's a huge asset. And the biggest thing I see, in business too, is that the guys respect you. They like you. They'll play for you. They respect what you did and what you do. And that's different. I've been around a lot of coaches who didn't play really at high levels. And that's a different path. But an asset you have is that you played. And do you notice that? Is that something you play into? Because you know what it's like to be a player.
Yeah, maybe sometimes for sure. I think the thing I noticed the most is that I love football, and I love people that love football, and people that love football, they seem to like me back, and then we roll. And I love having fun. I think fun in playing football and being around football, working on football, practicing football in the training environment, and it's just always been that way for me. And the great respect I have for everybody that's played. I know, like from my earliest memories, it was I would go out and play sports, and the fun that I got was pretending to be like a pro player, pretending to be you know Rick Leach in football, or Burt Jones, or Dan Fouts. And then when it came to hockey season, I pretended to be Gordie Howe or Bobby Orr. Basketball, it was like George Gervin, Larry Bird. Tried Magic Johnson type of passes and shots. And baseball, it was Mark the Bird Fidrich. It was him for a couple seasons. Both in practice and games. A whole half season, I was Al Harbaugh. I think I even taped my eye open for one game and would hit the mitt. But that that was how I had fun, pretending to be in Super Bowls or Thanksgiving Day games, NFL, you know, aspiring for that. But and it's so important to me that people got to have fun playing sports. I mean, there's a level of energy, there's a level of that you can't reach, you can't tap into unless you're having fun with what you do. And people I respect the most are the ones that they love it. It's not that they have to train or practice or play football, which is really hard to do. It can be very unfair, unforgiving type of sport, but they feel like they get to, and there's an unbelievable sense of joy that comes with that. So that's what I relate to, um, and it's also cool too. Once I became a pro player, like yeah, there's probably still pretending to be Joe Montana and then when it clicks in, like okay, this is my game. I get to actually pretend to be me, uh, and go out there every day in the practice. I get to be, myself. That was a level of fun that was just like, whoa, like nobody should be able to have this much fun. So, yeah, do I try to instill that and try to yeah, I do because it's infectious. And the guys I gravitate to the most are the ones that just see it the same way, and you know it when you after one practice or one training session where you watch them go in and compete, and yeah, gosh, you did five reps at 115. I want to do five dumbbell reps at 115. Kind of picture same as when you're back in 13, 14-year olds when you first started lifting weights, and you know Brett Bokirk had a bench press in his garage and some dumbbells, and man, let's go over and train in the garage. I mean, it's still that still that feeling that I have. It's just competing and just really loving what you're doing and having a tremendous gratitude for it. It's always been there for me for football. I love it.
Sure, yeah, no, the passion, you can see it. You're in it, the energy, the enthusiasm, like your dad said. I guess your dad, besides everything, what did you learn from your dad that you still do today, like in your daily job? You're there at the office, you're coaching, you're going out to practice. What's something you're doing on a daily that you say, "Hey, Dad did this. I'm doing this. He taught me this. I'm doing this."
I mean the top things, the top things that just have a passion and love for what you do, work hard, and then you have your two great loves. You have your family at home and your family at work, and those are your two great loves, and you're just doing anything and everything you can to help those two families be the best version of themselves. And it's it's that's what those three things, try to
Sure.
try to try to emulate and do every single day.
Great story your brother told me was you guys shared a room for 17 years. That's what he said. That's close. Right? I had a brother too who's 13 months older than me, so we were together all the time, shared the room. I know that bond. So you guys shared a room 17 years. He said he was a spender, you were a saver. He'd be spending money on dilly bars or whatever is what he said, right? He said, but you would know about right when he was out of money. You had maybe $50. You'd lay it all across the bed to let him know how much money you had and all that stuff. Is that story true, by the way?
Yeah, yeah. There's a ton. I mean, it's that is true. That's a true story. I like to, you know, my grandpa Joe Sapiti. He came over from Italy when he was 4 years old on a boat, and he he went through sixth grade and then had to get a full-time job. I mean, he had to become work in a filling station, become a mechanic, one of the best in Eastern Ohio, in Cleveland, Ohio, and then worked his way up, had his own filling station, and then burned down, and there was no insurance. He had to go back to work, and then he ended up buying a nursery in in Cleveland, Sapedi Nursery. The work ethic that was poured into us from Joe Sapedi, Bill Harbaugh, who worked on the railroad, Jack Harbaugh, Jackie Harbaugh, all my aunts, all my uncles, to see them at all times doing anything and everything for their family, and the work ethic that they were going to do. They were going to do the best they could with what they had, and it was all about the family. And that's just like ingrained. And so yeah, inspired, ingrained, and that's how you do it. So that and you love, and just the great love that you have for not only your family but all whom you're associated with. Your team, your friends. That all those virtues, been instilled in by Joe and Jesse Sapedi, Bill and Marie Harbaugh, through Jack and Jackie Harbaugh to us. It's that's been incredible.
Sure, sure. And we talked about transition, right? One of the things you know a lot of former players, guys struggle with transitioning from playing to what's next. Like a lot of guys stay in. John told a funny story. He said, "Well, Jim and I talk about this. We're afraid of transition. We stay in football. We don't want to transition." And he told a story. You're going to play until they tell you can't play anymore. Then play 2 more years, and then you're going to get into coaching, and then you guys. But transition. You know some former guys in business, leadership, different stuff. What advice do you give people to transition from, I guess, take a guy from playing to what's next? I tell guys, hey, get busy, do something, throw yourself into something, find something you like to do or don't like to do, but find something you like and go do it. What advice do you have, Coach?
Yeah, it's exactly the same advice that you have, and it's you know you just get up each day and get your feet moving and keep them moving. That's from Joe Sapedi. Get the feet moving and keep them moving. But what comes to something professionally, you said it. I mean, something that you have a love and passion for, because you've got to be able to work hard. If you don't have a love and passion for what you're doing, you're gonna get outworked. There's no two ways around that. So not about not about. I mean, it could be about other things, but I mean, number one, do what you love and have a passion for.
Sure. And then adversity. We all face adversity. You've faced adversity in your life in the past. You're going to face adversity. If you're giving some advice, how do you, when adversity's in your face, how do you approach it? What do you do? What do you do with adversity?
Yeah, I really it's like what I do with success. I get to work, go find some work to do, and there's a there's a there's a thing that happens that I experience every time. Like, okay, well, let's get back to work. Let me find something to do to help be a force for good here. Help find the solution. But the amazing thing that happens is whatever that adversity is or that problem is, I find that it clears my mind and also cleanses my soul. And while I'm doing said work, about half the time, because the mind's clear and the soul's been cleansed, I get the answer. It comes to me while I'm doing. Here's the next thing that not half the time it doesn't, but and then the other benefit is when you're trying to improve, you're trying to fix something, solve something, and you're working. It's you're either saving money or you're making money, and you're finding the solution. So that's really my only boy. You got you, and same for if you're having success. Boy, things are going. We won. We're this. We're that. Like, okay, let me get back to work. And make darn sure this happens again this week. We didn't win. We lost. We got adversity. Well, let's get back to work and make darn sure that doesn't happen again.
Sure, sure. And you've won everywhere you've been. San Diego, Stanford, the 49ers, Michigan. So you've built great teams, culture. It's about the people, right? I mean, I saw something recently. The strength coach you took from Michigan, you're a big believer in what he does, and my years in football, it's that room's the most important because you spend the most time in that room and that's where you get better and you do your work, right? So you got to have the right guy in that room. But what's your secret sauce to building? Obviously, you're a key guy and your energy permeates the building and the organization. But what's the secret? If someone's building a business, or building any organization, culture, and all that stuff. What's the keys? How have you done it so well for so long?
I really think it's a thousand things, little things people think are sometimes are the minutia, but they those thousand things add up to make all the difference. And there's no question, you said it. It's the people, and there are no little people. There are no like yeah, sure, there is nobody more important than Ben Herbert, but yeah, I could say that about all the. There's nobody more important than um, anybody that's on it when you're on a team, and it's that that yeah, I just don't understand any way of looking at it that like whoever it is. I mean, that person. I mean, that person's got the chance to be yeah the guardian of victory, the most important person, and when you see what you want to see is just everybody pitching in and doing anything and everything they can, to help our team be successful.
Sure. In 2002, I believe, is your first coaching job. You go to the Raiders, right? Quarterback coach. Transition from playing to coaching. I did it, and I remember I worked for John Gruden in the Buccaneers for a couple of years, and they kind of told me, "Hey, you're a former player." I was the only former player on the staff. They said, "Hey, the players are going to gravitate towards you. We don't want that." That's what they told me. I was like, "Okay." So like they kind of wanted it that way. But how was your transition? And then maybe you were around Al Davis, right? I remember Al coming out with the sweatsuit, the glasses, the hair, and I worked for Gruden and Garrett Guimont came over. These guys that they'd talk like him and tell the stories the Raider way and Al Davis. So you got any great stories about Al? I mean, he was a legend in the NFL.
I've so many incredible things to say about Mr. Davis. My whole experience of going from a player, to a coach, the experience that Bill Callahan gave me as an assistant coach, Mark Trestman gave me as an assistant coach, and yeah, you know, it wasn't to be a player or a sounding board. I mean, they wanted me to work and learn coaching. In the 2 years that I was there, I equated probably to double that. 4 years, years of coaching knowledge and going from not being able to really turn on a computer to being able to break down the film, to be able to create Excel files, to be able to chart plays. I mean the drawing the plays, the formations, the defense, the blitzes, making the cut up tapes. I mean, going from not knowing how to turn on a computer to, gosh, being pretty good at it. And they motivated me. Maybe there was some pride. And kind of like just brilliant the way they did it. Kind of the way my dad did it. When I was a kid, like you're probably not gonna be able to do this. You're probably not gonna. It's former player. It's
Yeah,
like
you got a
going from
bunch of money. You don't want to do this. Oh,
you
you
don't
sure you
want to
want to
do
do this?
this. It's like being the rock star. Being a player is like being a rock star to being now you're going to be a roadie. You really probably not going to be able to handle this. Like my dad used to. There's no way you can dunk a basketball, Dad. I'm like, I can touch the rim. Yeah, but there's no. Don't even just work on your jumps, and because of that, I mean you're doing you're 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 tries at the dunk. You can't even palm the ball. There's no way you can do it to you. I'll show him. That was that experience for me, and there's nothing but gratitude and thankfulness, to Bill Callahan, to Mark Trestman, and to Mr. Davis, who he 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 thought I could, he thought I could, and So that belief, and that motivation, really is what started it all for me. Doing something that I wanted to do, I chose to do, and love to do. But yeah, it's like any of us. I mean, we could never do any of this stuff alone or by ourselves, including being born. So the yeah, that's just another reason why I'm so I love football. It's because it takes a team to be good.
Yeah, no, and I remember that '02 season. I got hired. I finished playing for your brother in Philly and all that stuff. Then I go to Gruden hired me. I was a grunt, just like you said. I was grinding, doing the breakdown stuff, and they were doing the same thing to me. Oh, you don't want to do this. This isn't for you, and all that stuff. But I love football, so I was around it. And it's just funny, like they did the Oakland trade, Gruden down to Tampa, and all that. And if ironically, you guys, Gannon's the MVP. You already had a great year and stuff, and you guys number one on offense. That Super Bowl, I remember vividly because I got hired right after it. I was in Tampa, and I remember they handed out the rings, all that stuff, right? I mean, Tampa won, but the irony of the thing was like Gruden ran, he's a maniac coach, offensive coach. He ran the scout team that week for the Super Bowl preparing because I think Bill Callahan and those guys had the same system. He was
Mm-hmm.
running the same plays, the signals, and I know that game. I wondered, did it feel like the Bucks had the test answers because it was they kind of had all the signals and calls. I think there was a lot of turnovers in that game. It's just an interesting fact. I don't know if you saw it that way or not.
I saw our team had an incredible year. I mean, gave it everything that we could. We didn't win that one. It left a bruise. That was I remembered it as competition at the highest. It doesn't
Sure.
doesn't get any higher, and it motivates you. It motivates you to come back and just want that feeling, that goal of being world champions. But it's hard, and it's hard. I tell people, yeah, it's sometimes it's unforgiving, it's unfair, really hard. Wish it was easy, but it's not. And that's the thing I think that makes it most memorable. You just get in there, you give it your very best. Give it your very best. That way you're going to feel good about what you accomplish. And then next is get better. You know, work. You want to get better at something? Work a little bit harder at it, and never give up. That's the motto.
Love it. Hey, got last few things. So, talk to Dan Quinn, coach of the Commanders. He told a story about when he was at the Falcons. He was coaching against Belichick in the Super Bowl, right? I know you. I looked it up. You will want to know against Bill Belichick. But Dan was saying, hey, the level of coaching. He lost to them twice in the Super Bowl. He said just that he had to be prepared as a coach because the guy on the other side is so prepared. There's no situation that Belichick had never really been in. You beat him, I think, up in New England. Love to hear about playing against him and prepping for him, what that was like. And the other guy was Nick Saban. You beat Nick, I think, his last game. He's legendary coach in college. And just same thing. They kind of come from the same tree. I guess your thoughts about preparing for both and what that was like.
I mean, they're immense challenges as you can imagine. The best, the best, some of the best that ever did it. But you just you just do, you just do. It's not like it's never really coach versus coach in any of these kind of contests. It's probably. I mean, it's team versus team, and I mean, be like saying a boxing match is ringside manager versus ringside manager. It's all about the players. It's all about those that are in the arena, that are in the ring, and us as coaches are just trying to do everything we can to put our players in the best possible position that we can. I don't think there's any great coaches without great players. I don't think there's any good coaches without good players. It's really all about them. I mean, Teddy Roosevelt said it well. It's the man in the arena. So anything and everything that I do, And all coaches that I know are doing everything, anything, and everything they can for the players to be successful. And there's no question that Bill Belichick and Nick Saban, nobody better. There's nobody better, and few are even in that realm. You know, and we can name the names, but the bottom line to me though is you're a coach of your team, whatever team that is, assistant coach. You got a group of players that you coach, head coach. Yeah, you get to coach everybody, but you got the opportunity. High school, college, name the sport, women's sports, men's sports. You're a coach, and you have the opportunity to be somebody's favorite coach that they've ever had, somebody's favorite teacher, somebody's favorite coach they've ever had, and that opportunity is there for you, and go attack it with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. And who the greatest coach is, probably unknowable, but you have the chance to be somebody's favorite coach they ever had. Man, that that's worthy of your absolute best effort.
No, and I love the answer, and I hear it loud and clear. I agree with you too. It's the people show up to these stadiums not to see who's on the sideline, not to see the owner in the box. They show up to see the players on the field. I remember back when 9/11 happened. I was playing, and the owners wanted us to keep playing that week, and the players went in. We said no, they're putting bodies in the Giants' indoor facility, but the owners wanted everyone to play. The players said no, we're not doing it, and they didn't play. But you're right. I mean, people show up for the game, for the players, and
The
they do.
magic, the magic that happens in real time when you don't know the outcome. It's there's no way of knowing what is going to happen. Yeah, and then to be a fan, to be somebody that's watching, to be somebody that's participating, to be somebody that's you know there. That's and it could happen. The magic could happen, and so often does. I mean, practically every NFL game. So it's something that you cherish. I mean, I cherish the opportunity to be involved in it.
Right, you're putting your players in the best position to be successful. That's the coach's job. You put your team in a chance to win. That's what you're doing, Coach. What's the best advice you ever got?
The best advice that I've ever had, it'd be a tie. There'd be like probably a 10-way tie up there at the top. Be attack each day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind, which is again, I mean that's otherworldly. That's unknown to mankind. That would be up there. Justin Herbert, Mark Herbert's dad, you know, gave his kids advice, and it was really a four-step process of number one, give it your best. Give it your very best. And Dave Adolph used to say that same thing, which was great advice. Make sure you've given it your very best. That way you'll feel good about what you accomplish. Step two in Mark Herbert's advice to his boys was get better. Get better. You are allowed to, I interpret that as you are allowed to try. You are allowed to get better. And you know what? It's noticed when you do. Number three, treat others as you would want to be treated. That's biblical. Not a lot of needs to be gleaned from that. That is what it is. And number four, never give up. Never quit, never give in, never ever give up. And I interpret that too as like, don't say no to yourself. There are plenty of people out there that they get paid to tell you no. They part of their job is to tell you no, but you don't quit, and you don't give up, and you don't say no to yourself. Those four things. And then I kind of added a fifth to it, which is do all four things, no matter how you, boom, fill in the blank. All four things, no matter how you feel, no matter if you've been adulated or criticized, whether you've been gotten a fair shake or not a fair shake, whether you've been respected, disrespected, all four of those things, no matter how you feel, no matter if you've won or lost or how much you get paid or not get paid. And that commitment of no matter what you say about me or good or bad, I am going to give it my very best. I am going to get better. I'm going to treat others as I'd want to be treated, and I'm never going to give up.
Love it. Love it. Last question, Coach. Played 15 years, highly successful coach for 25, 30 years. You're keeping going here. What do you want people to see, former players, your kids, people to think of you and say about you and, hey, Jim Harbaugh, he's a, what do you want them to say? Or what do you hope they say?
I, yeah, I got, I don't, people, yeah, they were proud of me, you know, he, he did good. He gave it his very best, and yeah, I love him, and it's those people that know you that that's how I want them to feel about me. Yeah, he did good. He was a he was a force. He was a force for good in my life, and those that I coach, yeah, I'm aspiring to be their favorite coach, their favorite teacher. My kids at home, I want to be their, yeah, I want to be their favorite dad. I guess maybe that sounds kind of funny because you're their only dad, but yeah, I want to, and those things, yeah.
Awesome.
And
No, absolutely.
he was he did
Go
good.
ahead.
He did good. That's important to me.
He did. And nobody's been better than you, Coach. You played 15, you coach in national championship, been in Super Bowls. You're going to win one here soon, I'm sure. You've done a great job. Me as a former player, Coach, proud of you, rooting for you because you're a guy that loves football. You've been in football, you live it and breathe it. And, we need guys like that, played it because you see it from the player perspective. You can appreciate the empathy for what a player goes through and versus, hey, just give me some new players. So really appreciate what you're doing and really appreciate your time on the show. And we'll have you on again and keep going. Best of luck this season. Hope you win it all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Good luck. Great luck in your podcast, and thank you for all you do for football. Much appreciated.
You got it. Take care. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.